The night was thick with fog as old Tom stumbled out of the Lantern Inn, the village pub that had been his evening retreat for more years than he cared to remember. The air was heavy with the scent of marsh and decay, a smell that Tom had grown accustomed to, living on the edge of the marshlands. The moon was hidden behind a blanket of clouds, casting the world into darkness, save for the dim light of the lantern Tom carried with him. As he made his way down the old lane that twisted through the heart of the marshes, the only sounds were the squelch of his boots in the mud and his own slurred humming, a tuneless melody to keep the silence at bay. The village had long whispered tales of the marshes, of spirits that dwelled within the reeds, restless and vengeful. Tom had always scoffed at such stories, attributing them to the overactive imaginations of his fellow villagers, but tonight felt different. A chill wind nipped at his heels, and the fog seemed to close in around him, thicker than he'd ever seen it. Then he heard it, a soft, deliberate splash, a sound not made by his own drunken missteps. He stopped, straining his ears. Silence. He shook his head, chuckling to himself for being spooked, and continued on. The splash came again, closer this time, followed by a rustling in the reeds. Tom's heart skipped a beat. He swung around, lantern held high, but saw nothing beyond the shifting fog and darkness. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice more uncertain than he intended. No answer came, only the mocking echo of his own voice. Then the whispers started, faint and indistinct, as if the fog itself had found a voice. Words formed from the hiss of the reeds, taunting him, calling his name with a chilling intimacy. Tom's walk turned into a stagger, then a desperate run, his breath coming in gasps. The whispers grew louder, the splashes keeping pace with his flight, always just a step behind. As he neared the end of the lane, the safety of the village lights in sight, a final guttural voice broke through the whispers, a deep, malevolent chuckle that seemed to come from right beside him. Tom's foot caught on a hidden root, sending him sprawling to the ground, the lantern shattering beside him, plunging him into darkness. Lying there, heart pounding, Tom waited for the end to come, for the marsh spirits to claim him. But as suddenly as it had begun, the taunting ceased. The fog lifted slightly, and the night returned to its usual silent self. Shakily, Tom got to his feet, casting wary glances at the reeds that swayed innocuously in the gentle night breeze. He never spoke of that night, but from then on Tom took a different route home from the pub, avoiding the old marshland lane. And though he would never admit it, he never again doubted the tales of the marshes, respecting the ancient spirits that he now believed walked alongside him in the fog.